Welcome. Thanks for joining us today. We have a really good one for you today. This is about deep water rockfish. So, we're going to let a few people get on here and then we'll get going. I just want to thank y'all for joining us today. And this should be a good one about deep water rockfish. It's a big myth going on. I get a lot of questions every day on the website about what's going on out there. What are we going to do, Captain Dave? How are we going to go about this? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Gang, this deep water rockfish thing is a different animal than all of you have seen before. It's a way different animal. So you're going to have to just take a break here and listen up so we can explain this to you. Season opens in just a couple more days on Saturday. So as we wait for a few more people to jump in here, we'll talk about this deep water rockfish thing and what it's all about and what's going to happen and how I would approach it. And I'm just waiting for a few more people to jump on here, gang. You look around back behind us here. Marley is in a great mood today. He has a new little toy, so you may hear him jingling a bell. I tried to take it away from him a couple times. He gets pissed. He really wants to play with that bell, so if that bell starts to become a problem on the show, we'll try to figure something out. But keep an eye on Marley up there in the back because he's very fired up today. And I want to thank everybody for joining us. Happy Monday. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. We had a big scare on Friday night. My son, like a lot of you know, and you came to the Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Show, my son works. He's pretty much the head bartender at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Lake Tahoe. And Friday night, we had a big scare there at the bar that he is the head bartender at. They had a active shooter, and it was very, very scary for Kelly and I and my ex-wife. And we really didn't know what was going on. We knew that it was happening at our son's bar at the Hard Rock, and we ended up finally getting a call from him, and thank goodness he was not there at work. But I feel sorry for the family of the young man that was there that night. It was a very tragic scene there at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Lake Tahoe, California. I'm not going to get into the what happened. It was very tragic, but thank goodness for us, our son is okay. But somebody's son is not okay. And it was very sad what happened. So those of you that were wondering, if I got a lot of phone calls and a lot of text messages, my son Sean is fine. So thank you all for the kind words and thank you for everything. And yeah, it was scary, and it's scary what's going on today in the world. It's just a scary time to be. I cannot believe what's going on. But on a good note, we're going to talk about fishing today. I just wanted to tell everybody that what happened up there. You can look it up. You can Google it or look it up on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or TikTok. There's stories going around all over the place. But that's what's going on. All right, gang. So we're talking deep water rockfish today. But hey, we want to welcome our we have a brand new sponsor. I want you all to welcome them to the show. And it's Roasted Anchor Coffee, gang. Roasted Anchor Coffee. Marley's got our bags of coffee right here. He was checking them out. Gang, you get that QR code. Scan the QR code. Let them see. Let everybody at Roasted Anchor Coffee know the power of your saltwater guide. We've made a lot of brands very, very, very relevant. Oh my gosh, this stuff smells incredible. This coffee is put together by fishermen for fishermen, gang. Let me just read one of the quotes off the side that you will love. This is incredible. So when you read this, you'll just be blown away. This dark roasted, it says wide open dark roast, just like the wide open bite on the yellowfin. Our dark roast has a wide spectrum of robust, deep, rich flavors to awaken you for your daily needs. that is this right here, the dark roasted. This is what Kelly and I drink. You guys want to go over there and you want to check out the website. You can order this stuff right online. They'll send it straight to you. We need to let them know what the power of your saltwater guy. We all drink coffee, gang. You don't even know where your coffee comes from. This stuff is organic. This stuff comes from fishermen. That's what we are. We're all fishermen. Why don't we get our coffee from someone we know? They were at the show. They were handing out free coffee at the show. They were hanging out in our booth. Check out Roasted Anchor Coffee Company. Check it out. The QR code's right there. And then you got to love this one. This is the light roasted, and it's just like the California Home Guards. Our light roasted is packed full of power and energy. Take on even the hardest daily adventure. Gang, these two coffees are phenomenal, and then they have a medium roasted also. That bag blew up on the way down here and ended up all over the Cabo Airport. They were smelling it, but this stuff, oh, it smells incredible. You want to get some of this stuff? You want to have this stuff? I mean, I'm going to have a drink right now. That stuff is insane, gang. Check it out. Hit the QR code right there. I'm going to pull it down here. We're going to get going on our show here. So check out the Roasted Anchor Coffee Company. Also, don't forget to download my app. You want to make sure you have my app downloaded so you can get in on all the cool stuff going on out on the water. So check out the Roasted Anchor Coffee. Check them out. Check out the company. Go check out. And then when you're checking out, when you're all done purchasing your coffee, because you're all going to drink coffee tomorrow anyway, you might as well drink coffee for somebody you know. Put in the code YSWG as you're checking out. You'll get a discount on the coffee. That'll let them know that you're coming from us. And we're going to have a big coffee giveaway. We're going to start running that for the month of April. And then we're going to give away to one lucky purchaser. We're going to give away. But all you got to do is enter the QR code. Elliot can track who you are, where you came from, and you don't have to purchase, but I want you to go check out the website, and then you get entered in the contest. There's Marley right there, gang, and he's not playing with his bell, so we're stoked. So let's talk about this deep water rockfish that's about to open on the 1st. On April 1st, the way they sugar-coated the closure of ROCKFISH in Southern California, well, in the whole state of California, they took another month away from us. Yes, they did. They took another month. Normally, when the closures all started, forever we never had closures. And then all of a sudden they took away 3 months. Probably the most important 3 months of the sport fishing deal in California. They took away our winter. Then this year, they decided to take another month. So they took January and February. Then they took March this year. And then the way that they took it, on top of it, they said, okay, so we're going to take a month away from you, but we're going to open up your depth limits. And now you guys can fish any depth you want. You can fish as deep as you want. You can fish in 1,000 feet of water if you want. And I stood back. And if you remember, if you look back to our shows back before this closure went into effect, if you look into our shows back in 2022, I was talking about how, gang, you don't want to fish that deep. You can't even comprehend what it's like to fish that deep. Gang, I used to commercial fish that deep. We used to fish in 600 feet of water, 650 feet of water all the time. But gang, here's what we did back then. We had 30 hooks or 50 hooks or 100 hooks. Or if we were doing it with passengers, the passengers had 10 hooks. And they used at least 5 pounds of weight. At least 5 pounds of weight. Sometimes we use 15 or 20 pounds of weight. Yeah, to get down there in 600 feet of water. Yeah, it had nothing to do with the amount. Here's the fantasy and the myth. It had nothing to do with the amount of hooks. It had to do with getting down to the bottom in 600 feet of water and pinpointing that structure down there and getting to it in a timely fashion and understanding when you hit the bottom with that much weight, you can feel it hit the bottom. What I'm afraid of is we're going to see is people trying to fish 600 feet of water with 8 ounces of weight. Or maybe you're going to put on 1 pound of weight. Woohoo! You're really going to go heavy. You can only use 2 hooks. You're going to drop it down 600 feet of water. And this is for all our members too. We'll post this video on our website also. This is for all the members of Your Saltwater Guide. Make sure you download the app if you haven't already. You got to have this app, because if you're not, you're just sucking. You got to have my app. You got to be able to download this app, put it on your phone so that you have all this up-to-date information on how to be successful when you fish in Southern California. So make sure you scan that QR code with your phone. Get that app on your phone. You'll be stoked to have my app. I promise you, I won't let you down. But gang, these spots that you're fishing, they're not any bigger than the spots you're fishing in 300 feet of water. They're still very small spots. You have to pinpoint accuracy to get on the spot to actually catch the fish that live there. That's why it's imperative to have a lot of weight on. And I know you go, oh, I've never fished with 1 pound of weight. I've never fished with 5 pounds of weight. I've never fished with 10 pounds of weight. I know that. That's why I'm here to talk about it today. A lot of you aren't even going to know when you hit the bottom because you don't have enough weight on. There's current, there's wind. Let's be honest. When we go out rockfish fishing in April, the chance of the wind not blowing are slim and none. So we're going to have a lot of wind. And you don't know what the current's doing. Just because it's not moving on the surface, you can go through 4 or 5 different types of current on the way down to the bottom in 600 feet of water. Yep. The current on the top can be going down the coast. The current on the bottom can be going up the coast. The current at 400 feet can be going straight out to sea. It happens every single day. It happens all the time. That's why it was imperative when we were fishing rockfish for a living that we had 10, 12, 15, 20 pounds of weight sometimes. Unbelievable. I know you can't comprehend putting that much weight on your line, but gang, you have to get your line from the boat down to the bottom in 600 feet of water. That's why it's imperative to have the amount of weight. Then the next problem, which nobody talked about at all during this whole process, which I found dumbfounding to me, and I talked about it a lot, and I was told to stop talking about it by the powers that be, is you're going to drop down now and you're going to hit the bottom in 600 feet of water, or 700 feet. Some of you think it's going to be exciting to fish 1,000. It's not going to be exciting. And then you're going to catch a fish that you're not allowed to keep. It's actually a felony if you get caught with this fish on your boat. The cow cod that lives at 600 feet. That's why none of this made any sense to me, because I actually fished for a living in the ocean in Southern California for 47 years. So I kind of have a clue of what lives down there. And when they were sugarcoating this closure and telling everybody, oh, you're going to get to fish deep water now, that you're going to get to fish in depths that no one's fished in the last 20 years. You don't want to fish there because you're going to catch a fish. Let's just say you catch a small cowcod. Let's say you catch a 10-pound cowcod and you wind him up from 600 feet down. By the time he comes up, they call it his air bladder, but it's not. It's his stomach. His stomach will be protruding from his mouth from the pressure change. His eyeballs will be bugged out of his head. His rear end will be sticking out of his body. He'll have all kinds of air bubbles all over his skin. And then they want you to get a descending device and send this 10-pound cowcod back down to the bottom, because they tell you he's going to live through this trauma that he just went through. And they want you to put him back down there on the bottom. Okay, now this is where it gets really funny. Well, how much weight do you think it's going to take? This is a small cow cod, 10 pounds. That's a small one, let's be honest. And no one's fished for them in a long, long time. So there's not a lot of little ones down there. The little ones got eaten by the big ones. But we'll just say a 10 pounder. When he's all bloated up and everything, it is going to take every ounce of 20 pounds to get him down to the bottom. Every ounce. Because that fish can float a 10-pound weight. A 10-pound cow cod can float a 10-pound weight. I've seen it 100 times if I've seen it once. So now they're going to tell you, most of you haven't even thought about this yet, and I've been waiting till the last week of ROCKFISH to give you a heads up because I get so many messages from members in our community section about Dave, you don't have any spots in 600, 700 feet of water where we can go fish? Well, I do, but we use those spots for cow cod, which you're not allowed to keep. We didn't catch any. Once in a while, you'd catch a warthog, which is a brown speckled rockfish or some other thing, or a golden eye, which they call yellow eyes. None of those three fish you're allowed to keep. It's a felony to have them on your boat if you get caught. So you guys are going to be fishing. And now you always complain about, oh, when I go out on the boat, I see dead rockfish floating around the boat that nobody wants. Everybody on the planet wants a cow cod. They are probably one of the very most bestest of eating rockfish in the whole entire ocean. Yes, the meat is mind-bogglingly white, flaky, takes on flavor like a sponge. It's a phenomenal fish. We're not allowed to keep it. It's a felony if you get caught with a cow cod. And now you guys are going to drop down into depths where they live. That's what lives there, cow cod and warthogs and golden eyes. They live down those super deep. They're going to be your bycatch, and there's going to be absolutely no way you're going to be able to put them back down with the descending device. I don't care what Joe Booger Eater told you. You can't get them back down there with your descending device. You can't. If you do, though, it's going to take a long, long time, and you're going to end up dropping that poor guy in the mud out in the middle of nowhere in 600 feet of water where it's pitch black dark, where the guy grew up on that rock that you caught him from and drug him all the way up to the surface. Are you going to... Okay, so now you heard what I said. So now you're going to go and you're going to spend the time driving the boat back up to this rock that's in 600 feet of water. You're going to find it on your fish finder. You're going to have all the descending device stuff ready. And you're going to drop this poor little fish, well, he's huge. Drop him back down to the bottom with your descending device because you have a 20-pound weight on your descending device. So you're going to make sure you put him right on the rock. And then you're going to go back and fish that rock again, thinking that maybe there's some other type of fish that lives there. Well, there's not. All the spots I know in 700 feet of water are full of cow cod. And people go, well, what about the black cod, Dave? What about the sablefish that people talk about? Well, they've been allowed to commercial fish those the whole time we've been allowed to not fish out there. The commercial, you don't quote, go look it up. Don't believe me. They've been whaling on them. If there was any there, they caught them. The commercial guys have been allowed to fish in that deep water the whole time we've been not allowed to. Remember what I told you about these closures a long time ago, probably a year or more ago. We are the ones that always get blamed for everything, the sport fishermen, because we can't agree on anything. There are plenty of people right now on a video I posted this morning telling me that I don't know how to tie a boat up. And they will fight and they will threaten me. And the same thing with how to fillet a fish. And the same thing with how to drive a boat, how to dock a boat, how to tie your boat up. There's so many hateful people out there right now. And then the other ones that think they know, but they don't really know, they'll argue with you. Even though we're talking about fishing, something that we both have a passion about. We'll argue in front of the whole world so that the world actually thinks that neither one of us know what we're talking about. Then they'll take some more of our great resource of fishing away from us. It is so sad that we as sport, I'm not talking about commercial guys, are united. You can't drive a stake in between them. They are united. They understand that, and they're not going to allow anybody to come in between each of them. They will stand up for each other till the end. But sport fishermen, no, no, no. There are so many sport fishermen that don't agree with me. I agree with all of you. I agree with all of you. If you have knowledge and you're willing to share your knowledge, and I can see your knowledge, and I'll be more than happy to, I'll go, oh my God, this guy's been doing it for 40 years. He knows stuff. I'll agree with you and we'll ride that to the end. But the problem here is we can't agree on anything. And now we're all excited to go fish for a fish that we're not allowed to catch. It's the craziest thing I've ever heard of in my life. And the Fish and Wildlife sugarcoated this thing, or whoever the powers to be that put this thing together, they've sugarcoated it to a fact that now you're all excited to go fish for a fish you're not allowed to keep in depths that you can't even comprehend. I hear people whine and complain when they're out fishing those bluefin with the flat falls and the knife jigs and all that stuff, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm dropping this thing down 300 feet to hopefully catch a bluefin. Well, you ain't seen nothing yet, gang. Wait till you drop a 2-pounder or a 3-pound weight down 600 feet and then hook a 20-pound cowcod, because that's the average size of these things. I was just using the 10-pound, and then have to wind that all the way back up to the surface and not be able to keep it. And if you get caught, oh, I just wanted to sneak one in to see what they taste like. Well, now you can go to a federal penitentiary, because it's a federal offense to take a cowcod in California. Isn't that funny? Nobody's talking about it, though. Everybody's so excited to go fish these new depth limits for fish you're not allowed to keep. Those reds live in 300 to 500 feet of water. That's where they're going to be. 300 to 500 on those shelves and on those rocks that you get on my website at yoursaltwaterguide.com. You can get those rocks. You can get all the stuff you need to be successful when you go rockfish fishing. I cannot even count. Don't forget to hit that QR code. If you don't know any rockfish spots, I got them all on my website. You'll be stoked. Nobody else is giving you rockfish spots. Make sure you join my website. Download the app right there. The QR code's right there on the screen, and make sure you get it. But those of you that are back east in Florida and stuff like that, can you imagine I don't even know how to, the fantasy that they're feeding these people in California? They got them all excited to go fish for a fish that if you get caught with it, you're going to have a federal offense on your record. I don't understand, gang. So I'm trying to help you out. Quit focusing on this deep water thing. Gather up as many of the shallow water spots you can get and go out there and have fun. They're opening rockfish up. This is not a downer. This is an upper. They're opening rockfish up. Don't get caught up in the hype of going deep water fishing. Get caught up in the hype of going rockfish fishing. Get your spots from wherever you got them or you already have them. And understand, this is a very cold, rough winter. These fish have done phenomenal. They got another extra month to have a good time. It's going to be insane. The fishing is going to be very, very good for rockfish. I hope that you all got your spots on the boats and you ready with your stuff, and you've got your rock cod squirts from Promar, and you got your live deception jigs and your diamond jigs and everything you need to be successful, because believe me, it's going to be fun. I love rockfish fishing, but I just cannot help let you know that this deep water thing is not nothing to get all excited about. Stay with your known spots. Stay with your spots where you've got your reds and your salmon grouper and all the stuff that you've caught over the years past, and enjoy that and love that. Don't get caught up in the hype of going deep water rockfish fishing. It's not gonna be fun. You're not gonna get to score some fish that you've never caught before. You're not gonna the reds. You're gonna have to pinpoint how to fish these rockfish, like I talked about last week when I said more about rockfish. You got to learn how to use your GPS as your friend and start to learn how to use that GPS track line and the spots, the waypoints that you put into it so that you can start to pinpoint where these rockfish are. You don't need to go deep. You just need to fish smart. You just need to understand. Once you drift off the spot, you need to get back on the spot. This is imperative to know this stuff. All I'm trying to do is just help those people that think that this whole deep water thing is super exciting and you're going to get to go do it. It's not super exciting and it's not going to add anything to you. It's not something to get wound up on. Let's focus on the rockfish that we're allowed to catch and we're allowed to keep. Those are the ones we want to focus on. Don't get caught in the hype. I'm sorry, I can't keep beating that dead horse, but so let's talk about rockfish that we're allowed to keep, the reds and the boccaccios. Now remember, if you get a copper rockfish, we call those chuckleheads, you got to throw them back. You got to get them back down to the bottom with your descending device. Make sure you have a descending device on your boat, okay? We're done talking about deep water. We're talking about shallow water rockfish, the boccaccios, the coppers, the quillbacks, the boscos, all those ones that you don't want because all you want is the reds or whatever you're out there to catch. Make sure you're using a descending device to send the other guys back down to the bottom. And you can put a 3 or 4 pound red on your descending device. He'll go right back down to the bottom. He's not going to be all bloated like a cowcod coming up from 600 feet. You can get reds back down to the bottom. You get boccaccios back down to the bottom. You can get quillbacks and chuckleheads back down to the bottom. But it's super imperative that we do not have a bunch of fish floating around our boats when anybody comes. Whale watch boat comes by, sailboat comes by, Fish and Wildlife comes by, anybody. We don't want a bunch of fish floating around our boats. We don't want to look like that ugly fisherman that they paint us out to be. We want to be diligent in showing them that we actually care about the resource and we're going to have our descending devices and we're going to send these fish back down to the bottom. It's super imperative that you do this, that you follow along with this, and we all work together on this. Don't post pictures of fish you're not allowed to keep. Don't post pictures of over limits. Try to stay in our lane, which is conservation. We as sport fishermen have to show everybody that we are the best conservators of the ocean that can possibly be out there. And we created this rockfish problem because we all couldn't agree on anything. And then we allowed them to take this. Now we need to help fix it. Now we need to stand in that gap. And we need to try to fix this closure thing. And those of you on the East Coast, understand that whatever happens in California eventually comes to wherever you're at. Remember, people are leaving California like crazy right now, and they're bringing all their bad habits with you to Texas, Florida, and all those other places, and their voting habits. Just because they're leaving, that doesn't mean they're changing the way they vote. They're coming there with their voting habits, and this is what's caused this problem out here in California. So be diligent. Do your due diligence, pay attention to these closures. And also, gang, one thing, I was just on the phone with Wayne Cattell over at CCA. And one thing I can tell you is it's super important to make sure that you are a member of CCA. We want to make sure we're a member of CCA and we stay current on what's going on out there. There's that QR code again. Make sure you get that QR code. Make sure you get involved with CCA because CCA basically is our only voice at the table. They're not allowing Captain Dave to sit at the table. We already know that. They don't want me at the table because I don't have a filter and I can't sit and listen to rhetoric. I got to stand up and let them know. I got a big mouth and I let them know. So I'm not invited to those meetings anymore. But we can all be invited to the meeting if we're members of CCA because Wayne and Chris are our voice at the table. They're the calming voice. They're the voice of reason. And we have to go through the process. It's part of the deal. So we all just have to keep paying attention to what's going on. Become members of CCA. If you're not a member, you really don't have anything to complain about anyway because you're not helping. You're not part of the solution. You're just out there throwing around your negative vibe, and we don't want that. We all want to stay positive. We all want to keep being able to go fishing. We want to keep this fishing thing going. And don't forget to hit that QR code for Roasted Anchor Coffee Company. We want to make sure that we show them the power of your saltwater guide. Hit that QR code for me, gang, please. It really, really, it's free. Hit the QR code. It's free. It's free. I just want to show them the power of your saltwater guide. Just hit the QR code. Takes a second out of your busy day. You hit the QR code. That brings them right in to their website. Traffic is traffic. It will just help out your saltwater guide. And you never know. You might get a pot of coffee from them. You might buy some of that coffee. You never know. Because you got to go check it out. And then you get you use the code YSWG and you get a discount on the coffee. You're buying coffee tomorrow anyway. Might as well get the best coffee on the planet. Make sure you shop at Roasted Anchor Coffee Company. All right, gang. So we're coming up on a monumental thing. April 1st, opening a rockfish season. It's going to be incredible. We're going to get to fish depths that we've never fished in a long, long time. But just understand those depths aren't magical. It's going to hurt winding up those fish from that deep and then having to throw them back. So make sure you don't get caught up in the hype. But make sure before you get going rock fishing, you have everything you need to be successful when you go rock fishing. You got your rock cod squirts. You got your weights, your sinkers, your hooks, everything you need. And then the number one thing is make sure you have all the spots. You want to have as many spots as you can for when you go rockfish fishing, especially with what's been going on here the last few months. Everybody's feeling cabin fever. As soon as rockfish opens and we get some decent weather, everybody's going to be out fishing. So make sure you know more than one spot when you get out there, because there's a pretty good chance someone's going to be on your one spot, and you're going to be all sad if you don't have a whole bunch of spots. And you can get all those spots at yoursaltwaterguide.com. And you'll be blown away, and you'll see all the reports coming in from our members of catching rockfish. And you're going to be going, I don't know any rockfish spots. Well, that's your own fault, because you didn't download my app and you didn't get involved in my website, yoursaltwaterguide.com. But I'm going to wrap things up here, gang. I'm going to go play with my monkey and my beautiful wife, Kelly, and hang out with the cats. You guys all have a great, safe, kind day. Be kind to each other. Hit that QR code. I'm going to beg one more time for you to hit that QR code. Don't be afraid. Nothing bad's going to happen. Hit the QR code and shop Roasted Anchor Coffee. And I will see you all tomorrow. We'll have another great show for you tomorrow. The great Kelly girl is going to join us on Thursdays for Text the Show Thursday. And then we have a great guest on Friday. We have the man, Pete Gray from Let's Talk Hookup. He's been doing it over 30 years, the radio show on Saturday and Sunday mornings on his app, Let's Talk Hookup, and on the 1090 AM radio, the Mightier 1090. It's pretty spectacular. Check out Pete. He's going to be joining the show. There's his QR code. Check him out. If you haven't heard his radio show, gang, it's been going for 30 years, 30 plus years. It's an incredible radio show. I'm on there every Sunday morning giving a live what's happening on the water. Make sure you check in with Pete and I on Friday. We're going to have a great show. It should be fun. You'll get to learn about who Pete is and where he came from and how he got involved in this radio show. And his old partner on the radio show was one of my big heroes growing up. Big movie star, big time movie star. Him and Pete started the show. That'll be fun to listen to and see what that's all about. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Be kind to each other. Turn off the news. They're all lying.